So a very interesting article has just been released by Forbes. Disney's $300 million bet to tempt back moviegoers. Now this is actually all to do with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Indy 5. $300 million? Wow. This could be them shooting their load prematurely, I believe. This is a staggeringly high budget for a film which no one asked for. And largely, one would imagine, is down to all of the de-aging software, VFX, that they had to incorporate into this. Now, Forbes state, ahead of its first quarter earnings release today, the 8th of February, Disney has revealed that it has shelled out $294.7 million. Still a crazy sum of money. On making the latest installment in the Indiana Jones series in a bid to tempt back fans to the cinemas this year. Now, interestingly, something we all know, and they also state in this article, is that it will be the first Indiana Jones movie which hasn't been written by Lucas. In 2012, he sold his Lucasfilm company for $4 billion to Disney, which put Oscar-nominated director James Mangold in charge of the new film. I actually quite like James Mangold. I think he has done good work. Whether this is good or not, $294.7 million is not the budget this should be. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. This is way too high. Way, way, way too high. Now, they actually go into this and outline where this has come from and how this monetary value has sort of come to light. And they state, movie budgets are usually kept a closely guarded secret, as studios tend to absorb the cost of individual pictures in their overall expenses, which is true. It's actually why the budget for the film Strange Worlds was just so insane. When that was revealed, people were like, sorry, what? You spent how much on an animated feature? Now, the cost for this film itself, this was made in the UK, and they're consolidated in single companies. So they create a company, and the budgets are done through that, which obviously have to file annual financial statements, and this helps them with the UK government's film tax relief scheme. So basically, it's a tax rebate. Now, that actually allows each individual production company to claim back up to 25% of their costs in the UK. So that's the only reason this has come to light now. So the production company itself obviously have individual code names so they don't raise attention. And this particular subsidiary, which is behind Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, is PLT Productions UK, which is named after the Phoenix Little Theatre, which in 1964 hosted the premiere of Firelight, the first film made by Steven Spielberg, who directed the first 4 Indiana Jones movies. Now, PLT's latest financial statements were filed in September, and they show that the UK government paid its $44.7 million during the 10 months to the 1st of April 2022, following a payment of $10.9 million in the previous 13 months when filming began, a further $0.2 million, another $0.2 million was paid prior to that, bringing its total tax credits to $55.8 million. So a substantial amount of money. Now, according to financial statements, PLT's total costs come to a staggering, and it is staggering, this is the budget, $294.7 million. That's insane. Now, obviously, production was delayed due to COVID, and then there was an injury as well. Harrison Ford suffered an injury. So the final cost itself was forecasted to be in line with the adjusted production budget, even though it had numerous delays. This budget is so staggeringly high for a film which no one asked for. But I think what perhaps is the most hilarious part of this So this film, nearly basically a $300 million budget. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a film which most people bloody hate, had a budget of $185 million. $185 million. Now, granted, that was released in 2008, but it only grossed, and it is only, $790 million. What on earth are you doing spending $300 million on an Indiana Jones follow-up to that film? Now, I don't necessarily think The Dial of Destiny is going to be a terrible film. We don't know. There's lots of signs that it's going to be bad. I'm sure numerous people can gather that. But to spend $300 million on it, you're going to have a marketing budget of at least $150 to $200 million. Plus, you've got to claw back roughly 50%. Well, you basically get back 50% only from theatres. So you're spending bare minimum $500 million on a movie that no one asked for. You have to make back so much money. What a staggeringly bad business decision this was. And again, it's not to say anything about the quality of the film. We simply just don't know. But to put it into perspective, Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously, again, times, etc. But that only took $389.9 million at the box office. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, $333.1 million. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, $474.2 million at the box office. So you are spending the equivalent of what they grossed on the film. Again, we can all adjust for inflation, etc., etc. But that is just insane. And we talk about it being a gamble. Well, Forbes did. Yeah, I'd say that was a gamble. I'd say that was a monumentally dumb decision, even with the tax rebates. $300 million on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. How is that going to tempt people back? No wonder Disney's like, yeah, we really do need to curate better content and get our budgets reined in. No, you think? Really? Goodness me. So let me know what you think of this down below. I saw this and I was just floored. $300 million. That's more than some Marvel movies, ladies and gents. That is more than some Marvel movies.